Very happy to be in the class, and I can see it's a big group. We are now over 260, and all of us interested in becoming leaders in Africa who are going to influence the future of Africa to be the continent that leads the world. That's the reason why I'm in this group. If our discussion can help us to become such leaders, certainly it would have been worth listening or talking to you from Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya, when you are in various, I've seen you are in various cities of Nigeria. I prefer to be called Mzee. Mzee is a Kenyan word for an elder. Not that I'm very old, I'm just over 70. I'm not over 80, I'm just over 70, so I'm a young man. But I think in Africa we respect age. So when you call me elder or Mzee, then I feel that's the best title I can have, which recognizes that I have been around for over 70 years. And I can also mention the fact that God has given me opportunities in leadership, in society, at work. I worked for Shell for around 30 years, and after 30 years they called me an old man. So I no longer work for Shell. And after that I registered a consultancy firm where I'm the leading consultant, and I've been with them since I retired, and I'm still consulting mainly in the areas of leadership, management, performance management, those kind of areas. I also do a lot of training both in Kenya and in other places, because I believe that if you get the leaders right, the country will be right. Whatever we can do. By the way, somebody started the other day and said that if you got even just 20% of the people to face a certain direction, 80% of the others just follow. So you don't even require the whole country. Just 20% of Nigeria going to a good direction. Sooner or later, the whole country will face, like studies are showing. And that's why even as few as we can be, we should not start thinking, but wait a minute, what difference can I make, even if I have a good character, or all the people around me don't have good character? The example I like giving, and I'm giving it right at the introduction, is this young man who was a young boy of 9 after rain, a thunderstorm and hurricane and El Nino and all kinds of problems. He went to the seashore and saw that a lot of fish had been swept onto the shore, and they were dying. They were in thousands and dying. So the young boy was picking one fish and throwing it back into the sea. Then an old man came and said, "Young boy, you are wasting your time. Can't you see there are thousands? There isn't much you can do." And all of a sudden it dawned on the boy, for sure, he isn't really doing much. Then on second thought he said, "Wait a minute. I am sure most of these are going to die, but not this one." He took one and threw it to the sea. Part of the problem why Africa has problems is because the 80% who are going the wrong direction intimidate the 20% that have chosen the right direction. You start thinking, but even if all these fish are going to die, so why bother? But you know, the truth is, you may not make a difference everywhere, but for that particular fish, if you throw it back to the water, you have made a big difference. And my appeal to all of us is that we should not be brought to think that because we are few, that there is no hope. I think it will be very important that we understand that. So our discussion today will be seeking to to put the place of character. In other words, we show the place of character in this endeavor that we have, and our endeavor is to influence Africa to take the right direction. And in this, we shall be trying to emphasize and challenge all of us to think that the status quo doesn't have to remain, whatever it is in Kenya or in Nigeria or in any other country. We will learn how character influences leadership and therefore can bring transformation. So basically we are looking at leadership, not just leading people, being a manager. We are thinking about people who will not accept the status quo, who are going to seek to bring transformation. And I'll be emphasizing value-based leadership is what gives character. And it's the one that will influence the Africa to the right direction. We should all learn how to persevere, because if the 20% is going to bring influence, it must be the 20% that is tough, immovable, and that can persevere and overcome the challenges that oppose good character in Africa. You know, I think it will be important to discover that competence, capacity, and character are all important, but that without character, however competent you are, people will not trust you, therefore you are likely to influence them very much. And I hope in the process we shall also discuss something about how to assess your core values and character with view to developing areas identified character deficit in your life. I was told by somebody who trained me on how to train adults that that adults, you should never assume you are teaching them something they don't know. In fact, among them will be people who know the subject more than you. So the best thing you can do is to be a facilitator, not a teacher, to adults, and allow them to actually make a difference by introducing for them, or rather helping us as a group, so that we don't just learn from the facilitator, we learn from one another. One of the things that we shall be looking at, and I hope I'm giving you as an assignment, is the whole issue about why you need a good name. Good character is what we call a good name. I will also be asking you to look at various examples, and Martin Luther King is a good example whom I'll give, but I want to hear examples of Nigeria, not this foreign one. I'll also give you a Kenyan example. But let me first of all start by saying anybody of good character is said to be somebody having integrity. I've written a book which you can access in Amazon. The title is Integrity, the Litmus Test of Good Leadership. In other words, if you really want to know whether somebody is a good leader, just check, does he have integrity? Character comes out of a man of integrity. And when you talk about integrity, we are talking about adherence to moral and ethical principles. Not just shouting them, but adhering to them, keeping with them, being controlled by ethical principles. Your integrity is seen in what you do when you know no one will find it out. So you should always imagine whatever you do, whatever you say in your life, assume that they have a private eye, and how these things are possible, where you are in your office, wherever you are. Some people can put some recording device. And then tomorrow morning, it will be the national news. People of good character do not care even if you hide a camera, because there is nothing they do in secret that they are embarrassed about. They can defend it. They are sure it's okay. Your integrity is seen in what you do when no one will find out. So think always that whatever it is you are doing in secret or in public may end up being the top item in the national TV or in the national newspaper. But my friend, if you have integrity, the most important thing is that it produces trust. Because people trust you, and hence you can live at peace with them or resolve conflict between people because they trust you. Can you imagine? You are the leader, two people are fighting, but they both don't trust you. This one thinks you'll side with this one. The other one thinks you'll side with the other one. They can't allow you to be the one who mediates between them. You need to understand that in transformational leadership, we are talking about moving people from where they are, which is a point of comfort, to where they should be, which is a better place for the society or the community. But in between where they are and where they should be are sharks and lions along the way. How will the people agree to move with you out of their comfort zone to where the society should be when in between they are lions? Unless they can trust you, they will not leave their comfort zone. And that's why people with no character can be managers, but they cannot be leaders. You see, a manager is somebody with a title, with the power, and they can actually use the power to force their way. But people who are leaders are very different. That's a major difference between a manager and leader. The word lead means you will go ahead and others choose to follow. Manager means they are your subordinates. They have to obey you. When you are a leader, it means people trust you and follow you. That's why leadership is much more difficult than management. And you cannot bring transformation without leadership. And you are saying leadership is taking people to a better place through the challenges in between. How will they do that if they don't trust you? And that's why we are saying people with no character. Nothing happens. That's why in Africa we keep trying. Somebody tries, then somewhere along the way it is sabotaged. Because people think even when the president comes up with a fantastic idea, people are saying, let's find out what really is behind this idea. What is in it for him? And the moment you start second-guessing the leader, you look for a way of sabotaging the project. And the whole society will never move to where they should be moving. And I sympathize with a lot of our leaders. Because anything they could do, even when they mean good, it's always suspected and it's always sabotaged by the opposition. But if you come up as a person people trust, even the opposition wants to oppose you, people will laugh at them. Because they say, okay, if it is John, yeah, I know, I'm sure what he's doing is right. Of course, the trouble is, for you to reach that level where people trust you intuitively, it means you have been tested over time. And people now know, out of the many tests you have gone over without compromise, that there is nothing that can compromise you. That's what integrity does. Integrity is an English word that has the same root as integer. 2.5 is not an integer. 3/4 is not an integer. Integer refers to a full number, a whole number. In the same way, integrity means wholeness. You are the same person at night and in the day. You don't change. You are the same person. You are the same person at home as you are in the church. You are the same person with your wife as you are with your secretary in the office. There's nothing changes. Nothing surprises you because you are consistent. And person of integrity does not tell story. He can refuse to give an answer if he thinks it's going to put him in a risk. But he can't tell you a lie. So, a person, you can ask him, who is your father? He doesn't have to think twice. Because he has no intention of creating a facade of somebody who was born in a rich family by a chief. He will tell you exactly, I was born by a villager. So even if you wake him from sleep, who is your father? He'll talk about the villager. So I can tell you, people of integrity have a very simple life. No complication. You send auditors to his department, he is not bothered. There is nothing the auditors can discover except a genuine mistake. So in the process, he doesn't have sleepless nights. He cannot even cancel his leave because people are auditing him. No, just go ahead, write the report. There is absolutely nothing he is afraid of. My friend, people of integrity don't suffer from stress because a lot of the things that make us stress and we get burnout are because you are trying to protect and cover up complicated issues within your leadership. My friend, if you choose not to have integrity, be aware you'll have a very hard time. You know, I was told, I read in the Bible, some of you may not be Christians, but I read the story of shepherding in the book of John chapter 10, and then somebody went to Israel, told me he actually saw it happen. He was in his room in a hotel upstairs when he was dressing, when he saw a farmer, a little, not too far away from the hotel, got where the sheep were, he opened, and instead of getting to the sheepfold, in order to inside to push the sheep out, he just started walking, and the sheep started following him. He actually stopped dressing to just watch. He went and he went a long distance, and the sheep were following him until they reached where he wanted them to graze. For many of us, at least in Kenya, that's not the way our shepherds behave. Our shepherds will normally enter into the sheep pen inside with a whip and whip the sheep out. Keep beating them until they reach where they want to graze. So, both methods are going to get you to where you want the sheep to go. But if you use this method of forcing the sheep, it means by the time you reach there, the sheep will be in pain and you are going to be tired yourself. But what about if you became somebody the sheep can trust? You just walk leisurely. Enjoy your walk. Arrive in the other place, and by the time you arrive there, the sheep are not suffering, they are not in pain, and you're not tired. That's what leadership of integrity is all about. Ability to move with a group without the problem. You know, I remember, like I told you, I worked for Shell, I was a manager with the Shell. And I still remember one of my friends coming and saying, "John, are you not lucky?" I said, "What do you mean by lucky?" If what is happening in your department happened in mine, auditors and investigators will be there. Now the same thing has happened. They are doing nothing. They just trust you. I had not realized the advantage I had by being somebody who has integrity for my. I worked for sure around 30 years, and over time you create. Everybody understands. Even when you are put in a corner, you are willing to lose your job rather than compromise. So obviously, by the time he had noticed, people don't know. Somebody comes up with a story about me, and the management just dismisses it. So it is not done. And I had not realized what advantages I was having on a day-to-day basis, even from my bosses, because they actually trusted me. But it did not come easy. You know, for a time I was distribution manager in charge of logistics. And my friend, I got all kinds of temptations in the sense that the transporters, the owners of tankers, don't believe you can do a good job for them without bribing you. So one after the other was coming loaded, offering me gifts. Nobody bribes. They always give, in fact, they call it kitu kidogo, something small. No, Mr. Nganga, manager, we have come with something small. So I had to explain to them that I am a different type of a manager. I do not take anything beyond my salary. And so there's no way I will ever take anything from you. They started imagining there must be another contractor I'm taking from. I don't like it. If you refuse a bribe, the people believe you don't like them. Because they expect everybody to take bribes. Now that I did not take that one, they investigated. When they finally found I am not taking any bribe from anybody, they started trusting me. I had a much easier time now dealing with my contractors. But of course, not all of them, because something will go wrong. And I still remember trying to cancel somebody's contract because he had actually done something that was not right. And he came to my office, said, "Do you really know who I am? I am a senior superintendent of police reserve. That I'm a businessman in the day, but at night I become a policeman." So, of course, I got the message. He can easily kill me, and that matter will go nowhere. And then he explains about why I should be careful how I treat his contract. And I must admit, the initial thing is, I didn't know it. Because you see, there's nothing. He actually produced his police card and a photograph of him in uniform, so that there was no doubt. And he had a gun. So basically now it was clear, if I really cancel his contract, I'll be in a lot of trouble. So initially, if you, hiya, this is dangerous. My children are young. How are they going to? How am I going to feed them? Then I remembered that you can only die once. You can't die twice. And that if you die for a good cause, you should not be worried about your children. God, if you're a Christian, you know the Bible says He is the father of the fatherless, the husband of widows. So if you stick with your gun and they shoot you, okay. And that's not the only person who came in my office with a gun. You see, initially they thought they can bribe. The next thing they tried was to get me fired. But even my boss, who wanted to fire me, could not find something to fire me about. When they realized the boss, and then I was in middle management. When they realized the boss is doing nothing, the next thing was now get rid of me. That's why now the threats were death. Of course, to their surprise, I wasn't going to be afraid of death. The moment I realized that I could actually die, I sorted that out. Is it okay? What will happen? I made up my mind. My family would be okay even without me if I died because of standing for my integrity. I'm still alive. Many years later, I'm still alive to tell you I didn't die. Whatever they organized did not happen. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, I must have been thrown out.
Yes, probably the network, sir.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Do you want us to yes, do you want me to share your slides like we discussed?
Yeah, so that if it happens again, at least the information will still be there.
And you can keep your video off. Yes, I understand the network.
Oh yeah, hoping by switching off the video, things are going to be okay. Okay then.
Yes, sir. Actually, do you have it or do you want me to share it on my end?
Sorry? I sent the.
I'm just speaking to the IT.
Okay.
Not you, sir. I'm fine.
Okay.
So HL is sharing, and once you want to, you don't say next slide. So can we move?
Yeah, keep moving. Okay. Stop there. So I can continue from where I was talking about, and I'm giving an example, talking about the worst people can do. If you stand your ground, the worst people can do is kill you. And in my argument, if you read my book on integrity, anybody who is not willing to die will finally compromise somewhere or the other. True integrity comes when you are ready to die for your values. And that will be a very, very important thing to deal with. Anyway, my friend, move the slides backwards. If you don't mind, move backwards. Keep moving backwards. Keep moving backwards. Backwards again. Backwards again. Backwards again. Backwards again. Backwards again. Backwards again. Backward. All the way back. And now we'll do the exercise. Yeah. Go to the next page. Move forwards. Again forwards. Now, I realize what you have is lacking the full exercise. Number one, I would like when we split into groups, because I want us to split into groups. I would like each group to tell us a good name is better than riches. True or false? Debate it among yourself. Then one of you will report back. Second question, which is not on the, I'll write it on the chat box. But second question is, I'm assuming you are a man or woman of values. Can you tell us who influenced you to have the values you actually have? Tell us, and of course, we are not looking for the name. Is it a mother? Is it a father? Is it a teacher? Who influenced you in the values you have? Don't tell us just now. Tell your group, so that we end up, you have at least more people to tell, and then you agree. One will get one report. Question number 3. What in the character of that person made the person so admirable that you actually copied them? What in the character? Describe the character of this person who influenced you. And what in them made them so admirable that their character ended up influencing you. Their values ended up becoming your values. Those are the 3 questions. And you have 10 minutes after we break into groups. I hope the questions are clear.
Yes.
Okay. The first one is a good name. It's better than riches. The second one is, tell us about the person who influenced you to have the values you actually practice today. The third one is, describe the character of that person that made him so admirable that he ended up influencing your values. Those are the 3 questions. You can help us, break us into groups, and give it 15 minutes. But in 15 minutes, you come ready to report back.
So, Doctor, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
In 15 minutes, we will be 5 minutes from break time. Do you want us to go ahead? Will you come back and take some responses and go to break? Or do you want them to take the next?
Okay, let them choose. I think what you'll do is that after 15 minutes, they go for their break. If they want to continue the discussion and eat up their breaks, I leave that to them. So we come back after the break. The break is how long?
The break is 15 minutes as well, so we're back at
So we come back in half an hour.
about that.
Okay then. Thank you.
Okay.
The meeting is back to you. I'm now quiet. The meeting is yours now.